Hello, welcome to the presentation of our product. We've developed an at-home Arabic learning by teaching language log. The language log is an at-home style learning activity where the teacher provides the student with a language activity to practice at home with their parents. This promotes speaking Arabic outside of school and in another context. It also engages parents in the process, which is one of the concerns that the school had that was addressed. This is hopeful to work, as we heard from the presentation in class that the parents of the children that attend this school either are excited that they will learn their language and engage with them when they come home to teach them what they are learning, or they will not know the language and be excited to receive instruction from them. Our product includes a physical logbook that helps with tracking the activity learned. The activities will be all teaching-based for the students to perform that vary based on grade that we'll discuss later. We chose learning by teaching activities because research has shown that children can learn by teaching someone else. We will also discuss this in more detail on the next slide. Parents will be given access to this language log and the activities, and students will check in with the teachers periodically. This product will not count for marks. It'll be available to those students who are motivated to learn the language outside of the classroom. To encourage this, we have added a star reward system where the student can get a star after doing a task, where after doing 10 activities, they get a prize. We would need to consider COVID procedures for this prize procedure, but we can leave that up to the individual teachers for deciding what types of rewards to have.
Our project is backed up by current research. First, social interaction is shown to improve certain aspects of second language acquisition and increase out-of-classroom interactions. In this study, students were divided into Mexican-American children learning English as a second language and fluent English speakers. They then underwent an IEPT treatment that made use of a tutor-tutee style of interaction, where the tutor would learn an activity and then teach it to the tutee. This was switched, where one day someone would be a tutor and the next day they would be a tutee. This showed to improve vocabulary comprehension and increase second language interactions outside of treatment. This is relevant to our project because this style of interaction is similar to the IEPT treatment, like in the logbook, as both make use of a tutor-tutee style of interaction. This study also demonstrates that this type of interaction increases L2 interactions outside of the actual treatment, so our idea could also increase interaction in Arabic among peers during recess or free time. In second language development in migrant children, interventions improved language abilities most in those who didn't speak the second language at home. This first study was done with native Spanish-speaking children at a migrant daycare, and their patterns of interaction were studied. The most notable pattern for our project included a group with the lowest income and caregiver education, as well as the lowest scores in terms of beliefs and practices for literacy. This group tended to speak the most Spanish to the children at home and did not read to them often, so they got very little second language interaction at home. In the second study, they found that the positive association between the duration of preschool attendance and second language ability depended on familial second language input at home. So those who improved the most were those who didn't get that input at home. This study showed that children who worked on activities outside the classroom showed improvements in willingness to communicate. Here, grade 3 children were given PowerPoint activities containing the teacher's video and voice recordings, as well as images and text as homework for a semester. One of these is shown in the slides, where they are shown pictures of animals and they're asked where do they live. They are then expected to describe the environment that the animal would be found in. At the end of the study, they had a higher readiness to engage in second language discourse with other students. Lastly, teaching has been shown to be an effective means of promoting retention of the material. In the first study, they tested the effects of implementing a narrative computer-based educational game. Participants completed missions by engaging in learning by teaching activities, where they would help the avatar solve problems. In the second study, students prepared to teach a text on the Doppler effect and were either given a math problem to solve, or were given practice teaching the material with or without notes. Their comprehension was then assessed a week later. These studies found that there was higher retention when the participants engaged in reflective knowledge building. And learning is less likely when they just summarize without integrating it into their prior knowledge. This shows that teaching someone else the material is an effective way of retaining the material for yourself.
The language log addresses the issue for students learning Arabic in a non-Arabic context. The students are experiencing a lack of practice and exposure to the Arabic language outside of the school. So the language log facilitates a way for the students to be thoroughly immersed in the Arabic language. And that practice at home will translate to more confidence and willingness to communicate in the classroom in Arabic, either with teachers or with peers. Learning at home constitutes an environment of low anxiety because students are talking with household members that they're already familiar with and comfortable speaking with. As well, the logbook gives the kids and parents a chance to monitor their own progress with learning the Arabic language. It's both an incentive and a motivation to keep learning and keeping each other accountable. I can see kids reminding their parents, Mom, Dad, we need to do the activity for today so that you can sign my logbook. Or parents reminding their kids, hey, don't forget we need to practice Arabic so that I can sign your logbook. In this way, learning Arabic becomes a fun activity for both the parents and the children will be able to see clear support and interest from their parents in what they're learning. The logbook is both a simple and inexpensive way for students to improve their Arabic. Next, we'll look at some ideas for activities and tools for the language log.
There are actually many different exercises that a parent can complete with their child, but I'm going to go over a couple examples for each grade, as well as for junior and senior kindergarten. For Arabic children in junior kindergarten, parents can play a game with their kids where they play outside, but they have to yell what direction they are running or walking in. For this exercise, parents will need to learn the names of basic directions such as forward, left, right, or backwards in order to do this. Parents can also play an Arabic TV program or a short movie meant for kindergartners. For Arabic children in senior kindergarten, parents can ask their child questions such as, "Did you have a good day? Do you like your food?" The goal is for the children to give one-word answers. Parents can sneak this activity in while their child is eating, for example. And, like in junior kindergarten, parents can let their child watch a TV episode meant for kindergartners. For Arabic children in grade 1, parents can act out certain actions, such as sweeping, and the child will name the action in Arabic. Parents can also point to specific objects in the house, and the child will name what it is in Arabic as well. Parents can have a reference sheet with certain words and pronunciation provided by the teacher to aid them. Children can also have a little spelling bee with their parents, where the parents ask them to pronounce a word and they write it or say it in Arabic. For Arabic children in grade 2, parents can play recording, such as a short story for children. The child will then explain to their parents what it was about and what the key theme or message was. Children can also watch a show that asks questions, like in Dora, and the child can answer these questions in Arabic. The goal is to have interaction with the television. Children can also read short stories to their parents, and to confirm their understanding, children can explain to their parents in a native language what the story was about and talk about how they might relate with the main character. For Arabic children in grade 3, children can listen to Arabic songs with their parents, and they can tell their parents what the song was about to further improve comprehension. Children and parents can also listen to stories in Arabic or learn about facts and stories about local Arabic-speaking communities. Last but not least, children can put on a performance of sorts for their parents so they can add emotion and role-playing when practicing at home.